FA fam, welcome into the first week of your fantasy football playoffs. It is week 15. It's also COVID week. It's chaos week. It's anarchy out there. We're here to help you hone it in, lock it down, get you set for the first week of your playoffs. Apologies for the slightly late start. Let's go ahead and just jump into some of these questions that have been chilling here for a little bit, Kev, and then we can start talking about some of the guys who are in and out and expect to play and all that. We just got news that Jimmy Smith for the Ravens has been put on the COVID list. So now that secondary for the Ravens is just absolutely decimated. And it looks like they're going to be starting Huntley instead of Lamar as well. So crazy. Jalen Brown wants to know Parker or McLaurin in a PPR league. And it seems like for Washington, we can start talking about some of these things as the questions are coming up. Looks like they're preparing for Kyle Allen to start. It seems like they're more confident that he makes it back from the COVID list over Heineke. Obviously, still have time for Heineke to clear, but kind of seems like right now that would tell me that Kyle Allen has at least had one negative test so far, and he looks more likely to clear. But anyway, Parker or McLaurin, I'm going to go Parker here.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, Parker's in a great spot. No Jalen Waddle. You know who else I would look at? Oh, surprise! Like over the last, I think it's like the last 3 weeks, he's seen 20 plus targets, and that's Albert Wilson. And last week he saw 8. Week before that he saw 6. I think the week before that he saw 5. So I mean, he's been seeing a decent amount of targets, that's with Jalen Waddle and Devontae Parker playing. And so without them, without Waddle, I mean, he could end up being somebody who sees another 8-9 targets today, and widely available. So I don't mind Albert Wilson either.
I am here for Burt Week. I want it to happen. I loved him that 1 week, not the 1 year, but the thing was his last year in KC. I was all about that Burt life. Didn't really come to fruition, but I have a soft spot for Albert Wilson in my heart. Michael Brown, who should I start at flex? DK, Zeke, Javonte, Dylan, or Penny in a PPR league? Then Michael also has a defense question. Let's start with the flex here. DK, Zeke, Javonte, Dylan, Penny. I'm going to go Zeke on this one. If I knew for sure what was going on with Lockett, with that game being pushed back, seems like Pollard is going to give it a go. The quote was, expect him to play a couple dozen snaps, whatever the hell that means. But if he's only playing a couple dozen snaps, probably doesn't have a super high touch ceiling. So I still think it's going to be Zeke who's leading this backfield in a nice matchup against the Giants. I have no that Seahawks offense is so frustrating.
Yeah, but I mean with Pollard though, the thing I would say with him is that him if he plays 24 to 30 snaps, that's not really any different than what he normally plays. So that's not any different than what he normally would do, and so I think I'm gonna go DK.
Yeah, I don't mind DK, but I just want to get the locked in touches here with Zeke. So that's why I lean Zeke. I feel like even though he's been a little bit disappointing, apparently he said last week that the knee brace really helped him out. So now he's more comfortable with it. One of the beat writers came out and said that in the practices he's been moving physically the best that he has seen him since the beginning of the year. So I mean, take that with a grain of salt, but I like Zeke here in this matchup. I just prefer it slightly more, but I don't hate DK either. And then which defense, Miami D or the Eagles defense?
Eagles.
Yeah. Eagles defense for me as well, but Miami's right there. That's close. Eagles for me, though. Shelton rocking with us once again. Tight end, Pitts or Patty Fry?
I'm going to go Patty Fry.
With all of the injuries that San Fran has on the defensive side of the ball now, specifically at linebacker, the only starter they're going to have today is Fred Warner, who, I mean, obviously he's a stud, but they're still going to be without Greenlaw and Azeez Al-Shaair. So I'm going to go Pitts here. I think this sets up to be a little bit more of a Deontay Claypool type of game. Najee bouncing back in this one, I believe, as well. So I'm gonna go Pitts here. The targets have been there for him all year long. I think he has a better chance of ripping off a long one than Patty Fry does in this matchup. Got two here for Porter, Zeke or Joe Mixon. That's going to be Mixon for me. Assuming you as well, Kev.
Yeah, Joe Mixon.
And then Chubb or Joe Mixon.
Nick Chubb.
Chubb for me as well. Crip, AJ Green or Penny in a full PPR.
Rashad Penny. So what I think I talked about this before the show, that it's kind of interesting with Rashad Penny because Rashad Penny, while he's never been a model citizen of health, and that's always been his biggest problem, is that he can never stay healthy. But in games that he has seen at least 13 touches, he has never scored less than 18 half-point PPR points. And it's 6 games. And so I like Rashad Penny quite a bit. I know it's not the greatest of matchups against the Rams, but the Rams aren't also like a defense that I'm also just like overly worried about in terms of the run game. They're not the Saints or the Bucks or anything like that. And so he's going to be probably the guy. They don't have anybody else. Alex Collins, I believe, is still on COVID. And, who else do they have? I'm not worried about Adrian Peterson. So he is going to be the lead back here. And, I think he sees probably 15 to 18 touches at least.
Yeah, I'm going to follow the touches here and go Penny as well. Q coming through, Kevin. I throw this one to you. You're the keeper guy here. Appreciate you coming through with the super chat as well. Q, thank you very much. Kev, rank these keeper options. Chase in the 8th, Waddle in the 10th, Deontay in the 5th.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, one, Q, how many of these can you, well, I guess you just want me to rank them. I guess it would be, especially with the rounds involved with them, I think you have to view it Chase, Waddle, Deontay, just because if you're only going to lose an 8th round pick, or I'm assuming that's the way your league works with him, because probably where you drafted these guys. And I think you have to view it Chase, Waddle, and Deontay, though I think Deontay is probably a top 10 option, but we also don't know who their quarterback's going to be next year. In Pittsburgh. And so that's hard to, really, depending on who this is, if maybe they pick somebody up off the street or something like that, or maybe they make a trade for, an Aaron Rodgers has kind of been a topic of a player they could go after. He loves Pittsburgh. He loves Mike Tomlin. So that would obviously change. I mean, if it's Aaron Rodgers, you'd put Deontay first, no matter. But I think just overall with where you're losing players, I would go Chase. So if he said he could keep 2. If I could keep 2, I would keep Chase and Deontay, to be honest with you. Those would be the 2 that I would keep if it was me. But with the rounds included, it does make it really close with Waddle, going in the 10th.
Yeah, Chase would be one for me as well with like I said, with the round here. And then it gets really close between the 2. But I think I agree with you. I think I would go Deontay, but man, Waddle in the 10th is so enticing.
For sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, I still think Deontay in the 5th is still going to be good value, because I think Deontay probably ends up being a top 10 wide receiver coming off the board next year, I think.
Man.
But the thing is right now is like, we don't really know. Like, I don't know when he has to have these submitted. Like in my keeper league, we don't do it until, in August is whenever we submit ours. So we have all the answers. But if you have to do it early, without knowing what Deontay's situation is going to be, it probably may be smarter to go Chase and Waddle with the 8th and the 10th.
Yeah.
We know what their situations are going to be. It's either going to be Tua in Miami or somebody else, or like a Deshaun Watson would be the only other option that they would really have. So you secure. We know Joe Burrow is going to be there. They're probably going to get better and add more pieces. Where Deontay, he's kind of the unknown just because we don't know what their quarterback situation is going to look like, knowing that Big Ben's going to be gone.
Yeah. If I like how you laid that out. If you're making that decision early, I want Chase and Waddle. Yeah, I think that makes sense. But if you get the answers to the test, so to speak, and an Aaron Rodgers comes in, then obviously that decision is made for you to take to keep Deontay there. Appreciate it, Q. Thank you for the question and the super chat. Hope you have a good week 15. Over to our guy, Aiden. J-Rob or Gibby?
James Robinson.
James Robinson for me as well. Mark that down as something I did not think I would be saying this year. Patel. Good morning, guys. Thanks for the help. As always, good morning to you. Thank you for the question, for joining us. Please hit us with a sub and a like if you have yet to do so. We really do appreciate all of you and all of the support and interaction we've been getting all year long. We need 2 out of these in a PPR, Kev. Sanders, Ayuk, Van Jeff, Penny, Javonte, Michelle. Obviously, 2 of those Rams players are now hampered by their ceilings, with Odell and Darrell Henderson being activated off the COVID list as well. So there's another one for all of you guys to keep in mind if you lost that in the shuffle of all the news. It seems like it's coming out every 15 minutes. But need 2 here, Kev. Where are you leaning?
Man, I view all these guys so they're all. I think I would go Penny and Javonte. It's just tough because I like Ayuk. I think he would be the other guy that I really would consider. He's being more involved in this offense. We just talked about, at least from a game perspective, of how this game could play out, and especially with San Francisco losing so many pieces, that could Atlanta has been capable enough to be able to stay in games, and I think that maybe this is a little bit more of a shootout where Ayuk has to be far more involved. Debo is obviously there as well with Kittle, so he's kind of the third option. But we are seeing a lot more targets for Ayuk, and if this game turns into a little bit more of a shootout, then Ayuk is has a really high ceiling as well. Van Jefferson, even with OBJ there, he was a smash play without OBJ, but he's still with OBJ, he's still seeing a lot of targets and a lot of opportunities. And so, then you have Miles Sanders, where you have Washington. We're going to have to try to piece through that with all the defensive pieces they're missing as well. And so, he makes a little bit of sense, but within that committee that he's probably going to be in, with Jordan Howard still, he's back, Boston Scott, all these running backs that they have there. I don't think I feel as comfortable with him, and he's not really involved that much in the passing game with this being a full PPR. And then Michelle, now with Darrell Henderson back, it kind of relegates him. So it comes down to me between Ayuk, Van Jefferson, Penny, and Javonte. Really, of the 4 guys that I really would be looking at, and I just slightly lean more towards the running backs of Penny and Javonte. But if I was not wanting to play one of the running backs, I would go Penny and Ayuk is the way I would go.
Yeah, and I'm going to go Ayuk and Sanders would be my 2.
Yeah.
So we in the Venn diagram, we're sharing Ayuk. I don't mind Penny and Javonte either. I mean, Penny obviously in the lead for the touches. Michelle, like you said, we have no idea what to expect from Henderson coming back. Missed the game with injury, missed with COVID. I don't know what kind of touches, how that backfield is going to split. We haven't really seen McVay really use a committee approach. So it would seem like Michelle should be in line for the majority of the touches, but we just don't know. I mean, Javonte splitting touches, not in a great matchup. So if you want to go, I could go Penny and Ayuk because of the touches with Penny if we want to make a consensus here. I just like the spot that Sanders is in. I think we can expect him to get probably as many carries as Penny is going to see, even though he's splitting just because with how much of an emphasis that the Eagles have put on the run game, since Sanders went out a couple, midway through the season. But I'll go Ayuk and Penny to make a consensus here, but I do like Sanders in that spot. TX, who do I start between Ayuk or MG3?
I'm going to go Ayuk.
I'm going to go Ayuk as well, but that is that is closer than what it should be. And then KJ, DJ, or Bateman?
DJ Moore.
Yeah, going to go DJ as well. Alexis, let's go. First year in fantasy for Alexis as well, already rocking in the playoffs. Ronnie, yes, Stevenson was disappointing, but I don't think there were too many people who thought that the Colts were going to jump out to a double-digit lead like that and really just really handle them up until fourth quarter when they really started to make that comeback.
That was such a weird game because like Carson Wentz did absolutely nothing. Well, I mean, I don't know what he finished with, but I know for most of the game he had like 50 passing yards.
I think it was 57 on 12 attempts.
Yeah, and so I mean, it was completely all on the shoulders of Jonathan Taylor, and then the Patriots, really had to throw the ball a lot more in the second half. So it was. I mean, they got out really quickly. And, Mac Jones looks terrible, at least in the first half of that game, throwing a lot of bad interceptions. And, man, I'll say that the Michael Pittman, him getting thrown out of that game was the most ridiculous thing. Like, I'm like, what did he do? Like I didn't see anything that, he was literally there. Yes, he pushed, whatever, but who cares about that? We see that all the time. It's not like that's something that should get thrown out of a game for. And then Kyle Van Noy comes in, from the blind side and knocks his ass to the ground. And then, what was his name, Duggar or whatever, and then he takes him, slams him to the ground, rips his helmet off, and then they're all dogpiling on top of him. And it's like, what is happening, NFL? Like, how could you possibly throw Michael Pittman out of the game? Whatever, he was out there just getting assaulted on the field,
right?
Like just ridiculous. But regardless,
yeah, I was catching up from behind on that game, and I had the alert come across that he was ejected, and then I watched it, and I was like, well, something else is going to happen, right? Like that's. So you're going to run back onto the field? You know what I mean? Like I was waiting for something. And yeah, anyway. Franco needs 2 here in a PPR. DK, Devonta, Gage, and Sterling Shep.
So Metcalf and Russell Gage.
Ooh.
I like Devonta Smith. It's just so hard to trust them whenever I don't know really. I mean, if the Eagles can just run the football 40 times, they're going to run the football 40 times, And so I don't know what that ceiling is for him. I mean, Jalen Hurts may throw the ball 15 times in that game. So it's just really tough to trust. Well, I think Russell Gage is kind of locked in for 8 to 10 targets.
I do think that Gage is probably the safer option. Again, get out your bingo cards. Something I did not expect myself to say during the 2021 season. I'm going to go Smith and DK, but I don't mind Gage for the things you were saying. I just like that matchup with Washington. Even with Kyle Allen at quarterback, like we've seen him be okay. You know what I mean? He's not he's not an absolute death knell to an offense. So I think he can do enough to keep them in it to where we're not going to see a Eagles-Lions repeat of, a few weeks back where it was like 40-6 or something they ended up putting up and, doing something like that. I mean, the spread in this game is down to 8.5 in favor for Philly. Did I just talk myself into Russell Gage? I think I did. Yeah, I'm gonna go Gage as well. Safer, probably have similar ceilings. DK and Gage. Flex any of the guys you didn't pick or Miles Sanders. So Smitty, Shepard, or Sanders here for the flex for Franco. And I will go Sanders there.
Was this the...
So any of the guys we didn't just talk about. So for you, it would be Devonta Smith, Shepard, or Sanders.
Yeah, it was Miles Sanders. Okay. Yeah.
Perry needs a wide receiver 2 out of Van Jeff, Parker, DJ Moore. I think we're both going to go Parker there.
Yes.
And then RB, we need 2 here. Jacobs, Penny, Wilson.
Penny and Jacobs.
Penny and Jacobs for me as well. And then a flex out of that group for someone we didn't pick.
DJ Moore.
Samesies. And then Pitts or Goddard.
I'm going to go Kyle Pitts.
Pitts for me as well. Our guy, Dustin, coming through. Cooper's wide receiver 2. Aaron Jones is RB2. Kittle at the tight end. Flex options. Dylan, Ayuk, Van Jeff, Pitts, Sony. You need 1. And off to a decent start here with Eckler, Allen, and Herbert already going for Dustin.
I'm going to go Ayuk.
Ayuk for me as well. Really wish Darrell Henderson wasn't playing. It's close for me with Sony just because, like I said, I really do think he gets the majority of the touches in this game, but that's not something I feel confident enough about to pick Sony over this group. Mr. Wong, thoughts on James Conner, who does look like he is good to go for this game. Edmonds has been activated off of IR. Hard to sit Conner, especially in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, we're not sitting him at all. I mean, even when Chase Edmonds was right, and it was playing. I mean, James Conner was still kind of a weekly, low end RB2, RB3 every single week. And the thing with Chase Edmonds is that Chase Edmonds isn't going to come in and like vulture James Conner, right? He's not going to come in and all of a sudden now he's going to take like goal line carries. Chase Edmonds only has 5 goal line carries since 2019, 5, right? And so they just do not utilize them as that at all. So James Conner's not losing that role. Now he's going to take some pass catching work, but that doesn't mean James Conner is not going to see any pass catching work either. This isn't a game that they're probably going to have to throw the ball that much anyway, right? And so James Conner, like I still think, I mean, we're not sitting James Conner. Like you should. He's not like I have in my own rankings. I have moved him down where we had him at 3 with the if James Conner or Chase Edmonds didn't play, but I still have him as a high end RB2, with this one, so he's still a really strong play. And so we're not sitting James Conner just because Chase Edmonds is back. Chase Edmonds isn't going to be the lead back, The only thing I could possibly see is if with him dealing with that injury that he suffered at the end of that game against the Rams, that if they got up quickly on them, it's going into half, it's 28-3 or something, and then maybe like, okay, let's pull the reins off of James Conner instead of, right? But they still have to get to that point. So I'm not sitting James Conner.
Yeah. I mean, this game, where did that go? 12.5 point favorites for the Cardinals on the road. Still a 48.5 point game total, which gives the Cardinals a 30.5 implied point total. So even if they pull him back a little bit, they're still going to be putting up points. like James Conner, like you said, probably a little bit more of that RB1, RB2 fringe range instead of a locked-in top 6 kind of option with Evans back. You guys think I should wait on DK if Lockett plays on Tuesday or go with Parker and Ayuk? Team is down 5 points here with the stinker that Stevenson put up.
So I think the difference here with these two, or with Tyler Lockett, is it's seeming less likely that he's going to be able to make it back. I mean, he's somebody that was actually dealing with symptoms. It's not like he's been asymptomatic or anything like that. He's been fine this entire time. Those are the players that have a much better shot of returning versus a player who's. And I know Pete Carroll said that like on Thursday that like he was feeling really, really rough. Was starting to feel a little bit better on Friday, but it's going to be hard for me to imagine that he's going to be able to clear in time for Tuesday. Tyler Lockett. It's possible, obviously, but I think it's far less likely. And so either way, I'm riding with DK. I think I would play him, and I guess to make a decision between him, Parker, and Ayuk is really the question. And I would probably lean towards Parker, but I'm not sitting DK Metcalf.
Yeah, if we're picking 2 of the 3 here, I'm sitting Ayuk. Sanders or Edmonds for Braden?
Miles Sanders.
Sanders for me as well. Truth teller. Parker and Adams wide receiver, Eckler, Barkley, running back need a flex. Cooper or D. Williams? Or Carter?
Or Van Jefferson.
or sorry. I'm going Cooper.
I really want to say. I really want. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, Amari Cooper. I want to say Michael Carter. I love Michael Carter today, but
in a separate league for Truth, another flex here: Penny, Kirk, or Mooney.
Man, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Darnell Mooney.
Whew. Your boy Bashad Breeland was just cut.
That could actually be a good thing for the Vikings because he's been horrific. I really want to. I don't know. I really want to say Rashad Penny, but man, it's a great matchup for Mooney. The Vikings have been terrible against receivers this year. They've been terrible, and Allen Robinson is out again. I guess it's not 100% official. I don't think, but he's likely not going to be back in time. He has COVID, or he got put on the COVID list, and so we could see 15 targets here for Darnell Mooney in this game. And it's such a credible spot. They're going to be trailing, so they're going to have to throw the ball a lot. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with Darnell Mooney.
I think if you're just swinging for the fences, I do think Mooney's the pick here. I think Penny is the safe play. So that's how I would look at that. Truth is depending on your matchup. You know what I mean? If your opponent had one of those big guys play from the past couple games, and you're kind of playing from behind, and you're just not feeling great about your matchup, I think Mooney is the upside shot here. But Penny, we're probably looking at him as 13 to 16 touches, something like that. So I think he is your safety net, and Mooney is your upside play. Simmons, AJ Green, Julio, Wilson need 2.
Julio. I guess that's Jeff Wilson.
That's what I was assuming, yeah.
Yeah, so Julio and Wilson.
No AJ Green love here for you?
Yeah, I don't mind him. It's just I don't know. I don't. It's just I feel like his involvement could be all over the place as well. And I just think I love Julio this week, and then with Wilson, this is a really good spot against the Falcons run defense that you can definitely exploit, and so I do like Jeff Wilson.
He's just been a turd. I know the spot sets up well for him. I'm gonna go Julio and AJ Green. I don't mind Jeff Wilson. And watch, this will be the game that he comes out and rips off 115 total yards and a pair of scores. Debo's been more involved as a rusher recently. Now I'm going to go AJ and Julio. Is how I lean there. You're not putting in Edmonds over Mooney or Penny, correct?
No.
Thank you, CHB. I don't know if Kev saw the comment on the video or not. It's coming through to give me the credit that I did choose Rashad Penny as a start for one of the questions. Appreciate that. This way Kev wasn't yelling at me through the phone the entire time.
I really was. When I went back and watched it, I was like, no. It's like that that TikTok, the trend where the guy's on the outside, he's yelling at himself, like the same thing. Yeah. That's what I was doing. That's how I felt.
Two of your guys here, Kev, Javonte or Penny for Ryan.
I'm going to go Rashad Penny.
Yeah, I mean you gotta follow the touches. I mean, not a great matchup for either. The Bengals have quietly been one of the better run defenses. Obviously, splitting 50-50 timeshare with Melvin as well. God, why does fantasy football do this to us? Alex, half PPR. Parker.
This one's an interesting one. I'm going to go Brandon Cooks.
Man, this one is so close. Give me... Man. I'm going to go Parker. Man, that is so close. I am going to go Parker here. I just think that the Dolphins probably have a higher point ceiling than the Texans do. I think we could see some more offense, stronger offense from Miami going up against the Jets than the Texans going up against the Jags. And Davis Mills is so hard to trust. He can come out and throw 330 yards. He can come up and put up $170 as well. So I just don't know what to expect from Cooks. I feel better. I mean, from Mills, feel better about Tua, so I'm going to go Devontae Parker there, but it's razor thin. Andrew over at NASCAR Fantasy Live made the playoffs in all my leagues. Congrats. That's how you do it. Need to Carter, Ayuk, Henderson, Jeff Wilson in a non-PPR, and we need at least one of those to be a running back.
Michael Carter.
Who's your two?
And Darrell Henderson.
Oh, boy. That's not where I thought you were going with that one. In a non-PPR, it's going to be Carter and Wilson for me.
Yeah, I don't mind that either. I think it's really close between Henderson and Wilson. So if you want to go with Jeff Wilson, I don't mind that either. Especially in a non-PPR.
Yeah. Like I said, I have no idea what to expect from Henderson in this game back. Like I said, was out with the injury, then out with COVID. So I have no idea what to expect. I would think that Michelle at least leads and touches, and maybe they ease Henderson back in. But like I said, we really don't have a lot of outside of the first couple weeks of last year when it was a three-headed monster with Malcolm Brown, Akers, and Henderson. Like we really don't have a lot of evidence of McVay using a committee. So I just don't know what to expect. We know that Wilson should handle the bulk of the carries. Carter, Robert Saleh already came out and said that he is going to have a big role in this game. So that's where I lean with those two. Kells, Double Deuce, Patty Fry or Ricky Seals, Birdman Jr.?
Patty Fry.
Patty Fry for me as well.
It's a weird question.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like a flex spot that you can play anything in. I don't know. Maybe there is leagues where you can play kickers or defenses in one spot. If it is, I would probably go Prater.
Yeah.
For my
what
kicker.
if it's
But he said
what if
kicker?
Huh? So is it supposed to be Prater or the Cowboys kicker? Maybe just a little slip up, little typo here, Porter. Re-ask your question here, so we're all on the same page. Are you asking, is the defense supposed to be in here, or are we just talking kicker? Because you gave us one kicker option, two defensive options.
You're saying Cowboys or Cards D. So I don't know why Prater was involved, but
okay. So
maybe he's saying he has Matt Prater. I don't know. He keeps typing D, so we're assuming. All right, so Cowboys or Cards D. That's easy enough.
I guess the Cardinals.
Just gonna go all in on the Cardinals.
Yeah, we're gonna stack the Cardinals D and the Cardinals kicker. I feel like the Cowboys probably have the better shot at a turnover. Right? But I just don't see the Lions offense being able to do much of anything. No Swift, no Hawkinson, no Jamal Williams. I mean, not that the Giants offense really gives you chills and shivers, and you want to stay away from them, but I'm going to go Cardinals.
I'm going to go Cowboys.
Yeah, they're both close enough, and I'm fine with either one. DJ Moore, Mooney. Who you got?
I'm going Mooney.
Mooney. Will J, Van Jeff, AJ Green, or Hendo. We need one in the flex.
Van Jefferson.
Van Jefferson for me as well. Terry McLaurin, Chase Edmonds, Osborne. Pick one for Kells.
I'm going to go Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, I'm going to go McLaurin out of this bunch. Not a great matchup, but not really sure what to expect from Edmonds. Like you said, Kev, he's not going to be the goal line back. They're not going to be closing out the game with Chase Edmonds. And, man. I want to say KJ Osborne, but I just feel like such a donkey if I sat McLaurin, and he did well. But it is not a great matchup. Backup quarterback. I'm going Osborne. I'm going Osborne there. But if you don't want to sit McLaurin in favor of Osborne, I completely understand. Triple cross. ARSB over Marquis Brown. Yay or nay in a PPR?
I'm going to go Marquis Brown. He's been so consistent. I mean, and he's seeing a ton of targets. And I know Amon-Ra St. Brown has seen 24 targets the last two games. But I mean, you have to go all the way back to week 6, the last time that Marquis Brown didn't see fewer than 7 targets. Even last week, he still saw 8 targets, 5 catches, 41 yards. Big playability, everything else. And I just can't say the same thing for Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown is death by 1,000 paper cuts. To be honest, So I just lean towards Marquis Brown.
Man,
Sammy Watkins is also out, so which obviously helps Rashad Bateman, but I think it just kind of consolidates targets a little bit more.
What worries me with Baltimore is, I know Huntley has played well. He's been fine. But the Packers defense has been one of the stronger units all year. Jair is back. Triple cross, I think if you want to go, I think ARSB is the safer option. I think he probably has like the higher floor. But all it takes is just that one play from Marquis Brown to be able to get over on Amon-Ra. So again, if this is a case where you're just shooting for upside, I'd go Marquis. But if you kind of just need someone to get you, let's say, because I think his floor is 8 to 10 points. With the lack of weapons they have, with the amount of targets that he's been seeing, Josh Reynolds expected to play, but he was banged up a little bit earlier this week in practice. I just think Amon-Ra St. Brown's probably going to see more targets, but they're going to be way closer to the line of scrimmage. So I think if you need the safe option here, I think we're looking at ARSB as a 8 to 10 point floor. But Marquis Brown is going to be your boom bust option. So if you just need to lock in some safe points, I'm going ARSB. If you're playing from behind, you ran into Kelsey on the Thursday game, then shoot for the moon and go Marquis. That's how I would handle that one. You're muted.
I'll also say that the matchup is really bad. I mean, we know Amon-Ra St. Brown pretty much plays primarily from the slot. And so the matchup is obviously not great either for him. Because he's going to see Byron Murphy pretty much the entirety of the game. Byron Murphy has done a pretty decent job this year as a slot corner, only allowing a 76.2 passer rating on the year. 59% completion percentage. So he's done a pretty decent job at really limiting that upside as well. So it really, really where you want to target the Packers is in the slot as well. I don't know. I just it's hard. I mean, because Marquis Brown is also. I mean, he's averaged 9 targets a game with a 26% target share this season, and we're going off of like the last 2 weeks for Amon-Ra St. Brown versus Marquis Brown has done it all year, and he's getting a lot of targets. It's not like he's only seeing 3 or he's seeing 5 or 6 targets a game, but he's just getting there off of the big play. This really hasn't been the case. He's been seeing a lot of short intermediate routes targets as well. He actually has 12.4 yards per reception, which is 60th. I mean, so he hasn't. While he is 4th in deep targets on the year, he's seeing a lot of red zone targets as well. 9 red zone targets. So it's just really hard for me to even think about sitting Marquis Brown in the upside, and I think the floor that he has.
Are Dez Bucks or Niners for defense?
I'm gonna go Bucks.
Don't say that, Kev. I have to start Taysom Hill today. Don't say that.
Yeah. I think I gotta go Bucks.
Don't. Man, Bucks as well, but I hate it for myself. NASCAR Fantasy Live. T. Jacobs Mixon in a PPR, and we need Dos Equis.
Well, Mixon for sure, and then I'm gonna go T. Higgins. Or no, I'm gonna go Josh Jacobs. I'm gonna go Mixon and Jacobs.
Yeah, it's gonna be Mixon and Jacobs for me as well. Renfro or Foreman in a non-PPR for Cole Claps. I still think in a non-PPR, I'm still gonna go with Renfro here. I mean, he's had 3 straight games of 100 yards, 100 plus yards. So I don't think he's one of these guys who needs. Obviously, his point ceiling is much lower in a non-PPR, but I still think he could end up having more yards than Renfro. I mean, than Foreman does in this one.
Yeah, I'd probably go Renfro as well, but I will say the Steelers have been dreadful against the
Steelers have not been good.
They've allowed over 5 yards per carry on the season to running backs, and over the last, I think, 4 weeks, they've allowed 5.5 yards per carry against running backs. Right. The problem is with Foreman is even last week at a 20-0 blowout, he still only saw 38% of the opportunities at the backfield, where Hilliard and McNichols both saw at least 20% of the opportunities as well, and that was in a blowout. And so I just don't know really how much Foreman's hard to trust, even though it is a great matchup here. But with him splitting so much of these carries, I think Renfro just makes too much sense. And I can't say even in a non PPR.
Yeah. In a PPR, Connor, CPAT, Monty for the RB2 spot.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Monty and Patterson.
I think we just need one.
Oh, we only 4 RB2. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Who are we starting ahead of? Can we not play Patterson as a wide receiver? Is that possible?
Can we get one of these in the flex, Andrew?
I guess I'm going to go Monty. Especially with his absurd. He's all of a sudden been utilized as a pass catcher again. Like 15 or 16 targets the last 2 weeks. So, Minnesota is dreadful against the run.
Oh, Lord. So RB1 is JT for Andrew. Renfro in the flex and a PPR. Are you still going Renfro over those running back options?
No, I guess we're man. No, I guess we're just going Monty. That's what I'm going with.
I'm so annoyed about JT, by the way, going up against him in my home dynasty league, and I was like feeling like pretty good. I'm like, okay, if I can escape with JT getting like 13 points, like that'd be fantastic. And then all of a sudden I look up and there he goes. Oh boy. Man, this is so tough.
They're all very close in terms of where I view them. But with Monty getting like 80% of the touches in this backfield, 80, 85, it's just, I'm not sitting him.
Monty as well. And then who do you like a tight end with Gronk or Knox?
Gronk.
Yeah, Gronk is looking like the Gronk of old. Colton Cash, Everett, Njoku, or Schultz in a half PPR. We need one.
Is Hooper still out? Is he still on the COVID list?
I didn't see anything about that he was activated. I'll look it up real quick.
Because if not, I would go David Njoku.
The last thing that I am... The most recent thing that I am currently seeing is they activated Tack McKinley, but the other group that was put on the list on Tuesday is still on it. So Wyatt Teller, Wills, Landry, Hooper.
So I would just roll the dice and go with Njoku.
Yeah, give me the ceiling on that one. Miami defense or Dallas for Porter. I'm going to go Miami here. Kev, DPJ or Michael Gallup?
Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Man. I'm gonna go Gallup, but it's close. I do like DPJ, but I'm just gonna rock with Gallup there. Just fewer question marks, I feel like. Zeke, J-Rob, Penny for the RB2 for Andrew.
James Robinson.
J-Rob as well. Our ma'am, Tam, half PPR, AJ Dillon, AJ Green, or Michael Gallup.
I'm going to go AJ Dillon.
AJ Dillon for me as well. CB needs some upside. Went up against Hill. Did have Allen, so could have been worse. In the flex and a PPR, Osborne, Zeke, Freeman, Gallup.
I think if we're shooting straight for ceiling, we go Zeke.
Yeah. Zeke there for me as well. Gibby, Barkley, Henderson in a PPR.
Saquon.
Is it close with him and Gibson? That's another decision I have to make in my dynasty league.
Yes and no. The Eagles have kind of turned it around a little bit in terms of how well they played against the run, and so this isn't as great of a matchup. And I don't know, like it was weird last week. They didn't seem to want to like really utilize him as a pass catcher. He fumbled, so they benched him for a little while, and it doesn't sound like J.D. McKissic is going to play, so it is close. But Barkley, I mean, he got there last week with 18 PPR points, and the Cowboys have not been great against the run. They've been like very middle of the road. They're like 15th and rush DVOA on the year, and so like I mean, he's going to be involved as a pass catcher, and I think they very well could be also with this situation is kind of a little bit more secondary, I guess, but. They really need to make a decision on Saquon this year because he's heading into his 5th-year option, and they could just ride out with him for one more year. But they can also save $8 million against the cap by trading him, or I guess releasing him at if they wanted to do that. And so I think with Barkley, I mean, they really could just kind of sing what he has and what he looks like. Because I mean, and so. I don't know. I think he's still going to see a ton of touches. I think you're looking at probably a good solid, 15 to 20 touches for him. And he's heavily involved in the passing game. Mike Glennon, looked for him to check down to Barkley quite a bit here as well. So I just lean towards Barkley.
That's what I currently have as well, but I don't feel fantastic about it. Rolando, Penny, Pollard, Wilson in a full PPR.
We're rocking with Rashad Penny.
Penny for me as well, especially in a full PPR. Probably has more of a target upside than Jeff Wilson does. All right, guys, any last-minute questions, go ahead and get them in now. I'm going to go and look at, see if we have any other news that has come through from Mr. Schefter. Almost 9 million followers on Twitter. It's wild. That's kind of Panthers are helping kicker Zane Gonzalez off the field. Yikes. So officially active, Connor Edmonds, Pollard, DJ Moore, Ertz, Rex Burkhead, who, he was deemed out at the beginning of the week. Not that it really matters because we're not excited about playing Burkhead or David Johnson anyway. And then officially inactive, Zach Moss scratched again, Ty Johnson, ya boy, and Manny Sanders.
That's good news for Michael Carter. So if you have Michael Carter, I mean that's good news for him, right?
That doesn't really matter.
Because now it's just one less person. I mean, not really all that concerned with, really not all that concerned with Tevin Coleman there. So that's just really good news for Michael Carter. Obviously Gabe Davis is in play.
Yes, Gabe Davis.
And while you're looking at that, so Rolando has one more. Gallup or Gabe Davis or Lazard, full PPR. I think I'm gonna go Alan Lazard. I like Alan Lazard. This is I mean, the Baltimore secondary is you throw against Baltimore. You do not try to run. The Baltimore has been really, really, really good. They are number one in adjusted line yards. On the season, they're also, I think, 4th in rush DVOA. You just beat them through the air, and so I just think that I just prefer Alan Lazard, and we saw him last week. Randall Cobb is out, so that is a boost for for all the pass catchers not named Devontae Adams. Last week he went 6 for 75 and a score. He's been seeing, even the week before that, he still saw 6 targets there. He's seen 3 red zone targets over that span. So I like Alan Lazard, and so I would go Alan Lazard here.
What were the other two options?
Michael Gallup and Gabe Davis, and Gabriel Davis is fine too. But it's just Carolina has been really good against the pass this year, right? And so I don't mind Gabe Davis, but I just don't think it's as great of a matchup for him. And while he's still going to see targets, especially with Manny Sanders being out, Carolina on the year, they've been a couple other factors to keep in mind too. Is the Panthers are number 1 in adjusted sack rate on the year. They've been really, really good at getting to the quarterback. The Bills offensive line has been very, very suspect, especially lately. Then you also have Josh Allen, who just can't run the ball. I don't expect them to have him run the ball that much today. With him dealing with that ankle injury.
Sorry, while you're on that with the Buffalo offensive line, they are going to be without Deion Dawkins and Feliciano as well. Both of those guys are going to be out. They're left tackle and left guard.
Yeah, and so I mean, what their kind of saving grace is that they throw the ball so damn much because they can't run the football because they don't have any running backs. Which I've kind of said this multiple times now, but that has to be something that they address this offseason. They have to find a running back, whether it's being through free agency or through the draft, because they need a running back. They can't continue to do this where they just don't, because that's what's kind of killed them in some of these games where they needed a running back to kind of like the game against the Patriots. They couldn't run the ball. They had no other option but to just throw the ball in that game, and then when it was 40-mile-an-hour winds. But so anyways, and then with Gallup, I don't mind him, but he's kind of the third or fourth option here in this matchup. It is a good matchup for Michael Gallup. So I don't know. I just with all that being said, I just prefer Alan Lazard.
I'm going to go Gallup. I just think he's a little bit safer, even with being the third option in the passing game. He's still been consistent with the amount of targets he's getting. It's not he doesn't have a massive target upside, but kind of seems to be someone that Dak looks to in the end zone as well. I like Gabe Davis, but he's more of a dart throw kind of play for me. And the thing I would worry about I just wanted to double check. Last 4 weeks, 10, 8, 9, and 9 targets for Gallup. The thing I worry about with Lazard is the Packers getting up. I think they're one of the slowest teams, if I'm remembering correctly off the top of my head, one of the slowest teams in terms of pace of play in the NFL as well. So he could get there on a big play, but I just think with the fact that that projected game script, I'm going to go Gallup there. If MVS were out, because he was dealing with a little bit of a back injury starting from last week, I think he popped up late on the injury report, and then he was on it earlier this week as well. But if MVS were out, that would probably make me lean a little bit more toward Lazard. But with the fact that MVS is going to be playing, I just prefer Gallup here slightly. Green Bay 28th in neutral pace of play.
It's just weird, but they're actually 18th. Actually, when they have a lead of 7+ points, which is weird. But
and then last question here from Andrew. Guess we'll have a little bit more time to tinker with our lineups. I still got to get some DFS action in today. What are your expectations with Pollard in between him and Zeke?
I don't think anything really changes with how he was being utilized before. Right? Like before, I mean, he was playing around 33% of the snaps. He was playing around 38% of the opportunities. And so I don't think it really changes from what he was doing previously to this. And he was getting a little bit more involved, but for the most part, I mean, he was seeing around 7 to 10 carries, seeing around, around 4 targets per game. So around 10 touches per game. I don't think that really changed. I think he continues to see that. Great matchup against the Giants. And so I think Pollard is going to be involved here. And so I think it does lower Zeke's ceiling a little bit. The only positive is that, with this offense, they should be able to kind of move down the field, and that should give Zeke some opportunities to score some touchdowns. But Pollard back, I just think that's probably how I kind of view it.
Yeah. We need a flex and a half PPR here for Tam. Green, Gaskin, Gallup, Cooks.
Brandon Cooks.
And then 2 teams with Prescott. Would you play one of these quarterbacks over him, Tua and Taysom?
I think I would play Taysom. I think you probably have to stay with Prescott. But if I was gonna sit him, I would sit him for probably Taysom Hill.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it going with Prescott there as well, even though he cost me my matchup last week to get into the playoffs. I'm gonna stick with Dak. That matchup against Tampa. I know Taysom has the legs to do it, but he's going to have to do it with his legs in order to pay off in this matchup. The Tampa Bay secondary playing better, getting healthy. They obviously have a solid pass rush as well. So I'm gonna stick with Dak. Josh Poplove, PPR, Penny, St. Brown, or AJ Green.
Rashad Penny.
Penny for me as well. I'm going to go ahead and drop the Discord link in here into the chat. If you guys have any other questions that come up, go ahead and jump into the Discord. It is absolutely free. No strings attached. No fine print here either. That's fine. So if you guys want to jump into the Discord and ask any last minute questions, go ahead and click that link and you can jump in.
This is Rashad Penny for me, especially a non-PPR.
Yeah. Yep. Penny as well.
Money man. Dak or Taysom? I'm going Dak.
Yeah, we just talked through that one. I'm gonna stay with Dak here as well. I get why you would be debating on sitting him, but I'm gonna rock with Dak there, especially in this matchup. If it was better, I might lean Taysom, but it is not.
Yeah. Firefighter 1526 rocking with us in Twitch. What's up, guys? You need to start 2 wide receivers out of Chase, Renfro, Evans, and McLaurin full PPR. I'm gonna go Chase and Renfro.
I'm gonna go Renfro and Evans.
Okay. Sitting Jamar Chase. I mean, it is a tougher matchup on the road in Denver. That their secondary has been pretty good this year. So, I mean, I don't hate that either. We'll see if old Marshawn Lattimore can,
do it again.
Yeah, and just shut down Mike Evans like he seems to always do. Seems like it's a Super Bowl or something like that. So, anyways, like you said, if you want to join us, come over and hit us up in the Discord. Absolutely free, and check it out if you like it. Cool, stick around. If not, you can leave. There's absolutely free to get into. So, listen, this week is going to be wild. We still have today, we still have Monday, we still have Tuesday of games to get through, and then it's going to be a really quick turnaround. Because I think most sites are planning on moving waivers out a day. So instead of processing on Wednesday, they'll process on Thursday. Well, week 15 starts on Thursday. And so there's going to be a pretty quick turnaround in terms of content, in terms of us doing everything that we do. And so, we'll let you guys know how that's going to play out. But this should be a good week. Let's just win this week, and then we'll worry about week 16, which is Christmas week. So I hope everybody has a good week. Hope everybody has a good week. this weekend, and we will see you guys very soon. And hopefully we catch you guys over in the Discord. Have a good weekend. Let's win that money. Let's continue to move forward so we can get those chips. Peace.